that shows up so much more strongly that you actually can work with people to make the game that you want to get done. It is, it shows up that much better as a bullet point on your resume. Plus, the tool conversion that you do will always be better, will pretty much always be better than anything you can do on your own, because you have a bunch of people working on the same thing. So we'll also look better on your resume. So anyway, Flash and indie games. For those of you who haven't tried Flash out, it's excellent. It is a very simple tool to use. You can prototype games really fast. Hell, most of you guys have probably played Flash games online. The reason why there's a gazillion of them is because it's so easy to put together games. It's ridiculous. Plus, they work on anything. You can have like a Mac, PC, Linux, whatever the heck you want. Your Flash game will work. So it's a great way of showing people for sure what you've done. And the concepts are all the same. It's concepts for game designing work the same in Flash as they do in big games. So make sure you can consider at least doing some Flash games. Indie games, of course, can be Flash. They can be PC-based or anything else. So, cell phone games. Every time this gets brought up, people go, "Oh yeah, cell phone games." That's one I'm going to try. The reason why you should actually consider it is this. Cell phone games are one of the easiest things to actually program for. And at least a couple of years ago, there were companies actually paying people, it doesn't matter if you had any experience or anything, just to make cell phone games. Because there was that much of demand for it. In Asia especially, the rate of people actually starting to play more and more games has been growing exponentially. And for someone who hasn't even done any games before, to actually go in and say, "Sure, I'll build you a game. Can you give me, like $8,000? Yes. And it's that easy? That's ridiculous. So yes, actually considering those. Plus, again, you get to work on it yourself. Or if you want, the cell phone games at worst have a group of 4 people. Very small teams, a lot of creative input, and you get money for it. Not necessarily a bad idea. Plus, you get published. They actually still do look good on your resume when you're trying to apply for those better jobs. Indie game competitions. Oh, sorry, I forgot iPhones. iPhones, basically the same thing. They're similar to Flash, and they're actually so important now that the big development houses are actually starting to do it. BioWare has made an iPhone game. Many of the other big companies are actually starting to do it as well. So they're not just recognized and easy, but they also can be profitable too. The indie game competitions. If you do actually end up building stuff, and I know some of you guys have, that's good. Submit them to one of the competitions. Because what's the worst that can happen? You won't get nominated, you won't win. The best thing that can happen, of course, is that you will win. And the chances are that if you submit to a number of competitions, you probably will win something. Those are also excellent bullet points on your resume, and they make sweet talking points at your interview as well. Board games. Again, another one that people don't really consider. Board games? Why the hell am I going to board games? Well, board games, very simply, are even easier to do than the easiest level ever. You can prototype stuff very quickly, and if you want to work on your design muscles, work on board games. They are so simple. You can iterate through them in less than a day. You can get people to test them out. You can actually, they're not, I should be clear, they're not something that you necessarily put on your resume, they're for you. If you feel you need some more design experience or design skill, putting together a very simple paper prototype board game, it's ridiculously simple. It's just embarrassing. So definitely consider them, just if you want to practice. And finally, Xbox Live and Steam. There are some distribution systems out there, luckily now, like Xbox Live and Steam, that are cheap enough for indie people to go. There's, I think I saw Xbox Live Community Games. I haven't really looked into it, but they look like very, very simple games. I'm sure most people here could do as better or better than most of the ones that are on them. To actually purchase the kits and systems, they're within the realm of possibility for individual people. That is to say that they're guessing from $6,000 to $10,000. So they're within the realm that people can actually get them. They're still expensive, and they're still, I wouldn't choose them as the first way of doing stuff, but when you polish a game on there, you get paid for it, you get experience, and you actually sort of get to develop your own sort of publishing house too. Okay, so I've gone over all these things, and right now, it's like make a game. Make a game this way, make a game that way. I'm telling you how to make a game, and you guys have come here not to learn how to make a game. You guys have come here to learn how to get into the industry, obviously. So why am I doing this? It's because there's a big secret with the game industry. And I had to find this out myself when I was looking through, like, for years trying to get in. I looked through all the job postings. I don't know if you guys have done the same, but on many of the job postings, they will have something that says, art experience, can you do this? Can you do this skill set? Yes, 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 yes. And then you'll get to a point. And then you'll get to a point where they will say, have shipped 1 to 2 titles. And you'll be like, wait a minute, this is an entry-level position, and I have to have shipped 1 to 2 titles. How the heck do I ship 1 to 2 titles? At least I was thinking that at the time. You guys are probably smart enough to figure this out now. The big secret is to get into the game industry, you actually have to make games. Conversions or something. Because if you think about it, and I didn't realize this at the time either, there are game schools, there are no accreditations for games really. There's like, I think there is a new bachelor of, game science or something like that, some sort of college, but there's nothing that's really still widely known. How the heck do you get the experience to do this stuff? The companies that are looking for you guys are looking for people that have some knowledge or some experience in making games, and the only way to get that is to make games yourself. So it's sort of like a catch-22. You do have to make something to actually prove you can get in. It's crazy, but that's it. That's the big secret. So, with that, let's go back to... Okay. So with that in mind, let's go back to the idea of actually making a game. So now that you know you have to make a game to get in, what should you do? First things first, if you're making a game to get yourself into the game industry, the first thing it has to be is short. I told you already that we work crunch, crazy hours of crunch. We're very, very busy. We don't usually see the light of day, game designers, game developers. So it sucks, I'll tell you. But when we do, and when we have time to look over people's stuff, and I like to, we only have so much time. We only have like between 5 to 15 minutes. 15 minutes tops. Like that includes install time, okay? So you have to make it short. I know most people have these awesome ideas for games and stuff like that, and we'll go, no, listen, it'll be so awesome, it'll stand out on its own, and they'll see. They'll want to continue playing, it'll be fun. Like, I'll make it, it's gonna be an hour, but that'll be okay. They honestly will get to it. I swear to you. Like I've seen this so many times before. I've even done this so many times before. It won't happen. In fact, not just make it only 5 to 15 minutes, make the first 30 seconds of it awesome. Because yes, you do even have people that shut it down after 30 seconds. And if the first 30 seconds doesn't catch them, don't forget about that big boss fight at the end of like half an hour, when they get through the level. Have the big boss fight at the very beginning. Okay, have the best bits of awesome at the very beginning. I'm not talking about a cutscene either. Go straight to gameplay, because that's what you're trying to show the people, unless you're trying to show art. So have your first best stuff in there. And if you're worried about, well, I need more time to show what my story is, compress it, compact it, do whatever you can. This is basically like a commercial. You have to make it as punchy as possible. Let's see. The install stuff, actually. I should actually make a note of the install stuff. So say if you've been really good and you made your game or module 5 to 15 minutes. It's tight. In fact, you front load the first 30 seconds. It's super tight. And you give it to the developer, and it doesn't install. All that hard work goes down the tube. I've seen this happen before. I just want it makes me want to cry. But when it happens to me and when it happens to other people, you see such impressive stuff. But if they can't even see it, you're out of luck. Too bad. Test it on not just your computer, your friend's computer. Make sure your grandma can run it. Blindfolded. It has to be that simple. In fact, I'll recommend one other thing. Record your gameplay. Make a video walkthrough. This actually saved me going to Bioware. That game I did, Foamzilla, I did everything I could to make sure to install on as many different systems as possible. And it did. Every single system I tried. And at the end of the day, when I went to Bioware and asked them, did you take a look at my game? It's like, oh no, we actually couldn't get it to load, but I sent them a video walkthrough as well. They actually managed to see that and saw the game. So it saved my life, when it came to actually working at Bioware. It can save yours too.